go ahead and agendize that item for a later meeting. I should also mention, for those of you in the audience that may take advantage of this public comment, there is also one immediately following the flag salute and invocation at our 9:30 beginning, and of course then you will have a larger audience and more press and so on and so forth. So I'm happy to take your comments at this time, and then we will go into closed session. We'll come out as promptly at 9:30 as we can and get started with our regular meeting. Is there anybody wishing to address the board under this public comment? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Howe.
Oh, no.
Or Mrs. Howe. And Bob got here just in time, Barbara, for you.
I'm so glad.
Would you, now Barbara, you have to approach the podium,
Oh,
and Barbara, you have to tell us who you are. And you may address us again at 9:30 if you wish to.
I hope I don't have to. But I will try to talk. 3-minute time limit's a little tough.
Well,
I'm
well,
Barbara Howe,
the chair reserves the right to extend that if you're
if I'm good.
desired. Yeah.
I will try, and I have my little notes, and I did it patriotic, so I'll keep my own mind straight.
Okay, very good.
What I come to ask was for help with our RCD program. It's a good program, it has been here many years, it has served all of us who've been around very well. It's there when we have disasters, it's there when we need instruction, and then it come along a water matter. RCD has tried to take over Water Master Service, which should be simple because we have adjudicated creek systems, which everybody has a guideline of rules. The adjudication tells us we have a water master to measure and put that water where it belongs and when. And then we got a little bit of personal bickering and fighting, which has destroyed RCD. They're a non-functioning group. They can't even conduct a meeting. Now we can't even hold a meeting, because if you don't put what I want on the agenda, I won't come. You don't have a quorum. You can't have a meeting. This has got to quit, fellas. We need help. We just need to give the people authority that deserve authority. If you have people who have private interests, who want to work for their best interest and not the best interest of the community, and I'm here to ask you to please help us get back on track. We have the RCD meets and they plan for projects like the Sage Hen, like replanting burns, and we were actually on track. We have some members who want to do this. Then we have the little WAC board. They are to handle water disputes. RCD can function well, but they need to keep WAC, and they have asked this, they've made bylaws, they have done it. All complaints go to the WAC board, they are heard, they are investigated, their decision is made, and then it moves to the RCD board. But if the people complaining don't like it, they lobby the RCD, and sometimes, unfortunately, RCD caves in. There has to be a point when if a decision comes down against you, you take it to court. You don't drag the whole organization and the whole community through this quagmire of crap. And that's where we're at. I could nitpick, I could tell you item after item, but the basic point is all of this is costing us a great deal of money. And people don't have it. Like we have a little lady who has had a .06 third priority right. That's probably a garden hose for about 5 hours worth of water. But now she called me all upset. She's in her 80s. My water master bill has now raised to $88. I haven't had water for 35 years. What's the matter? Well, there's probably 20 or 30 or 40 of them on Baxter Creek. Baxter Creek, I realize, is we're kind of the poor folk of this district because we have beavers, you can't, nobody has time to, and I mean beavers of 4-footed and 2-footed. So we have nobody to, and I was hoping that the RCD would be able to help us address those kind of problems, because the erosion is massive. Get head gates, get measuring devices where they belong, not at the expense of RCD, but the water user, so that the water master can do his job appropriately. But we're spending our time and our energy on who can steal water from who. And our water master, I've been through about 15 or 20 of them, you know, they come, they go, and that's with the state or otherwise. Takes 2 or 3 years before they understand the system. There's over 200 diversion points. He is doing a very good job. It's very hard to learn, and learn the personality of who will pull your boards and who won't. And we need him to have support of RCD and of the WAC board without interference. And so that's what I'm here for. I would like to see you people check those members that are causing the trouble and ask them to start over, not meddle with our money and our time. They have us dead in the water. Am I under my 3 minutes?
Thank you, Barbara.
I could go on.
You're right at 3 minutes.
Okay, but anyway, I won't even
Oh,
tell
thank you
you
very much.
because Jack's at the meeting, he knows. Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning.
Oh, I like to come.
Is there anybody else wishing to address us under this public comment? Mr. Bentley?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'll leave it right there with, good morning, John. How are you?
How you doing this morning, Jack?
Doing well, thank you.
You're doing better than I am. I've tried to hold 3 meetings.
He might give you for the.
Oh,
large
I'm sorry,
purpose.
I'm John Bentley, I'm chairman of the RCD here with.
Thank you.
I've tried to hold 3 meetings, 2 special, 1 regular meeting, and I either don't have a quorum, because some of the new board members get together and say we're not gonna attend, or on the regular meeting, I did not put 1 item on because I felt it was an item for the WAC board. And I was told that if I did not put it on at that meeting, after you were there, that they would not approve the agenda. And so I said, well, I guess this meeting's over. I've since tried to have another special meeting just to pay bills. Again, no quorum. Okay? Now, I really don't know what to do about it. Jackie said to talk to the state RCD.
Or CARCD, that's
Yeah,
correct.
they told me to, my only avenue is to petition the court. Okay, I do not have legal counsel anymore. Like I said, I can't even hold a meeting. I would like to ask you what I am to do.
Well, again, we can't take action on any item presented to us.
Right,
obviously.
I understand
John,
that.
you know all the qualifications I'm going to go through prior to making a brief response. I've discussed the matter with county council, and county council is present, obviously, and certainly can speak for herself as well. She would be happy and willing to come to a meeting. Of course, I know you mentioned you may not be able to hold a meeting and give Brown Act training, agenda preparation and ways to get on the agenda, provide our board policy and procedure. We operate obviously under the Brown Act, Robert's Rules of Order, and then we do have our own policies and procedures. So we can work, or county council can work to assist you in conducting a meeting and so on. As far as legal representation, Retta, I'll let you chime in on over and above.
There's just an inherent, apparent, and literal conflict for me because I'm already representing several other departments in getting information from the RCD. I cannot give legal counsel to the RCD, which hasn't been offered through Lassen County Council from my predecessor and 2 before that. There are many districts, and we just don't have the staff or the resources to give each one of these districts. It would be a full-time job, especially the RCD. And I know you had an attorney, and I know he's not there anymore, and I would recommend getting another attorney.
It's kind of hard to do when you don't have a quorum.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so where am I at? Okay, I need an answer in the next few days. Okay, I have bills to pay,
Sure.
I have bills to pay, okay?
Just the problem is, John, and you do need help, and I'm upset that people we appointed, if they're failing, I don't know who comes and who goes, but, you know, I'm not gonna point fingers at anybody, all I know is what I'm hearing. But we appoint people that come up here and ask for the job, ask to be appointed, we appoint them, and now they're failing to do the job. They're failing to show up at meetings, they're failing to, act in a responsible manner, they're failing to put responsibility behind them. That upsets me. And it needs to be fixed. The RCD is more than the water master, as you say. I mean, it's huge in
It's
conservation.
a lot more than the water master.
It's huge in conservation and forest management and all this kind of stuff. And it needs to be functioning, and for it not to be functioning, it's poor. The problem is, we got no authority over them. All we can do is maybe send a letter from the board to all the members saying, we appointed you to do a job. If you are failing to do job, please resign your position so we can appoint somebody else. If it's legally, we can't go ahead and make anyone do that. They got no authority over it.
What they want is me to resign my position, okay? And that's where it's headed.
And maybe we can put that on the future agenda item, and that's just my opinion, a letter from us saying, those that we appointed, if you will not do your job and be responsible, resign. We want you out of there and we'll replace you. I don't care who you are.
And I can bring up several points here from every meeting,
Yeah.
how it was attacked, every meeting's attacked. You've been there, Larry.
I was
Jack,
asking
you've
them
been
about
to
it,
'em.
and I refused to, because I knew, you guys didn't give your agenda approved or nothing. And I knew it was coming. I've heard that, people calling me, so it's a mess.
Yes,
Sir, you have a comment or question? While John's still at the podium, go ahead and carry on dialogue.
Thank you. Thanks for coming and expressing your frustration. And I've been to 2 WAC meetings and an RCD. I know Supervisor Hanson was at the last one, and I had heard it didn't go so well. And thank you, Barbara, for coming in. I've been contacted by several users, and I really think that it's time that we do agendize this for a proper discussion, and so we could have an opportunity to hear from not only some water users that are very frustrated, and maybe another 1 or 2 of the board members, but I really think that it should be a discussion and possible action, and I think one of the possible actions should be to turn the water master service back over to the state.
I won't support that.
I'm not saying that I would give
If
it
Barbara
up.
thinks her fees are high today, go back to DWR and multiply by about 4.
You know what?
At least-
I don't think I don't know if we have the authority, that's under.
At least, and the other thing is, who's to say the court that they want us back? DWR does not want us back.
I'm just saying, the model that we have now is family misery.
You're
Mr. Chairman, point of order,
Yeah.
this is a public comment, I think, to
Right.
have this kind of discussion, debate, we're starting to get out of hand. So my suggestion is,
Go ahead and put it on the agenda.
would be to follow what Mr. Bosick has asked for. I think
Fine.
agendize it, because obviously there's a need for a discussion. So maybe at next week's agenda, all
How
the
do we look
parties
for
can
next
be
week, Mr.
notified,
Chairman?
anybody who's interested can come, and we can have a wide range discussion on the issue, because it needs to be hashed out.
How does next week look, Mr. Nichols? Or-
In my judgment, this is gonna be a long item, so it might well be an
Afternoon
afternoon
session.
meeting. Now, we are gonna have to have another closed session on Dire Mountain. I don't think that'll be very long, so if we schedule something for maybe 2:30 in the afternoon or something like that, then we'd have the afternoon to do that.
Or maybe other words.
Um,
August is the next.
okay.
Well, or the other option, is we can put a little farther out, to the meeting of the 23rd.
Well, the issue, yeah, I think the issue is there's some urgency to the
It's an
discussion.
urgency because I would like it to come before you before our next meeting, which is on the 24th, or we won't have a meeting on the 24th again. Okay?
Okay.
So next Tuesday afternoon.
Next Tuesday at 2:30? Tentative.
I don't think it's, I don't know that it'll be all that long.
We're gonna have to
Not
do
a
a
lot
session
we can
over
do.
there.
Oh,
on Dire.
okay.
Other than listening to people that probably speak to it, we got no authority, absolutely zero.
I think the closed session item will be fairly short, so why don't we tentatively schedule this for 2 o'clock next Tuesday?
Maybe we could do convene at 1 o'clock, come back at 1.
Well, we'll convene for closed session at 1, schedule this for 1:30 then?
That would be
Kim,
fine.
do we want to put on the agenda just immediately following the closed session?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
please.
That'd be fine.
And
It would be, for those in the audience who are interested, I'm sure you can hear the discussion that's being discussed to place this on our agenda.
So who do we need to notify? The members of the board? I mean, I don't have a mailing list of interested parties.
I can notify members of the board, and I'm sure there'll be a full house, so.
The secretary of the highway SUV does get the
Yeah.
agendas.
We would-
Harry,
yeah.
All right, so will this be satisfactory notice if we're gonna do this? Do we need to do anything extra?
I think that this will be satisfactory notice, in my opinion. I would
think
look
a
to
letter,
their
I think a letter
chairman.
should be sent from either you or the chair to the 5 board members, inviting them specifically, and then anyone else who's interested, obviously it's a public meeting, can be invited, but I think each of the 5 members should be invited.
Okay, and the topic is how do we improve the functioning of the RC? What are your thoughts about how to make it operate correctly, properly?
Function.
What are the issues dividing their work?
Just a discussion, I mean, I don't.
RCD function,
Yeah,
how the interest is applied.
that'd be just fine.
All right, so that will be set for 1:30 then on July
16th.
16th.
Okay. Best we can do.
Could you list of like possible direction to staff, or whether we can take action if we desire?
It can be action, possible direction.
Okay, got it.
I will not be here for that meeting because I have to pick up my grandson in San
You
Francisco.
will or you won't?
I won't, I can't make it on the 16th, but
Well, our next option, Mr. Bentley, and again, I'd be addressing you as the chair, is Tuesday the 23rd.
it's the 23rd, then.
We could do the same thing if that's timely enough for your board. It would be my pleasure then, if it meets the pleasure of the rest of the board, it'd be my pleasure to do it on the 23rd in an afternoon session, beginning probably at 1 o'clock and 1:30. We'll work that out.
Okay.
But I would prefer to have you here, and that would give us, if that's timely for you, that'll give us a little more notice time, so, okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
John, appreciate it. Is there anybody else in the audience wishing to address the board under public comment? Barbara White.
Sorry.
Good morning, how are
I thought we
you?
were gonna do it on the 16th. Excuse me.
No, we changed it to accommodate the chairman of the RCD board who cannot be here on the 16th
he's on
to,
vacation.
he's got to go pick up his grandson, but be that as it may.
Okay, I'm good.
He said that would be any urgency issue that he had, and of course, the timeliness is his decision, not ours.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you can't be there,
That's
we
going to be
definitely
the
can.
23rd.
He's our fearless leader. Okay, I had some additional documentation that I was gonna bring up against your appointed members, but I'll save them for the 23rd.
That
I
would-
thank you for your
That
time.
would be good. Thank you, Barbara, it's good to see you, thank you for coming this morning. Violet?
I won't take up your time. I gave you people something to read.
Yes, thank
And I've
you.
been trying ever since I was born in the county jail to get to the bottom of this. And I finally got my information. I'm getting some more. But anyway, I felt you need to know this. Thank you.
Thank you, Violet. Anybody else wishing to address the board under this public comment? We're gonna be running right into the next one anyway. Yes, sir. Would you like to address the board under public comment?
I haven't been to one of these meetings before.
And about,
And
all
I-
you've gotta do to begin with, if you don't mind, sir, is to give your name to the clerk so she can identify who's making the comment. If you want to.
Oh, totally fine. No, I've got nothing to hide. Tim Edwards, and
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Edwards.
a Lassen County resident. That's, puts me in the ballpark at any rate. I don't know how these meetings go, but I have a question about something, and I'm perfectly fine with waiting on it, but I don't, I have.
Well, you're standing, you've got our attention. If you'd like to address your question, we'll
Well-
see what we can do to assist you.
For a couple years now, I've tried in a real orderly way, I mean, you know, the only way possible to deal with an individual who has a piece of property next to mine. And the problem is that he has white top growing on a vacant lot. And I have a board fence. The white top is up over the fence. It's against the fence. It presents a fire hazard at the very least. And the other thing is that it rains seed all in my backyard. It's a house out at Levitt Lake. And I'm just wondering if I have any recourse, what options I have.
Just go upstairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you would go ahead and go upstairs, you're welcome to leave your contact information with the clerk if you care to. But if you would go upstairs to community development, I don't know if you've done this.
I have.
And you've talked to the code enforcement officials up there.
I've spoke with them on the phone, and they've referred me to the Department of Agriculture, and I just kind of get referred around, and I just try to deal with the individual. And
Right.
I've recently sought legal assistance with this, but there are civil codes I know in place about this. But I spoke with the fire chief, the newer
The
chief,
new one,
Jim
Susan River, yes.
Yorubaru, and he agreed. He went out there and looked at it, and he agreed that it was quite a fire hazard. And you know, it's just not. I'm really not asking a whole lot of this individual. Just mow it down, or shoot it with pesticides. But I've had to use pesticides, and I've had to in my backyard, and I don't generally use that stuff. I've had to resort to it. And the other thing is that I pulled it years ago, and I got sick from it. So, but I don't know what my options really are. The fire chief told me that he said, that right at the moment, I think my hands are tied, but that the county is about to either has enacted or will enact an ordinance requiring people to maintain their property.
We can discuss that with county council, you're right, and that is being examined at this time, yes.
I mean, I'm not unreasonable.
No, I can tell that, Mr. Edwards, thank you. That's evident.
Any suggestions?
If you want to just leave your contact information with the clerk, let me work with you on it. I can't do it here under this venue.
Well, I'm sorry if I've taken.
No, you didn't.
Or interrupted
You can address it,
people's
this
time.
is perfectly under our jurisdiction, you're perfectly proper and in place, but if you could leave your contact information, I'll get back with you.
And who should I do? Okay,
Get
thank
me
you.
right there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, appreciate your coming today. Stick
Oh.
around for the rest of the meeting if you care to.
Thanks.
Iona McCain, please.
Yes, I am King. As you well know, where I live, out in the country, and as you well know, cattle bring in with their cow pies and flies, you know what he's talking about, the white tops? It's the rhizome. My neighbors are doing everything in their power, and we did too, down by the bridge, to have the county agriculture department come out and spray, not close to the waters,
That's right.
you know?
That's right.
I should have done it harder.
Sure.
Anyway, the crux of this, we did this about like 5 or 6 years ago, because it's a rhizome, kind of like an iris plant, you know, all those little deals that grow. And you cannot spray it and kill it. You have to treat it over a period of time. All right? You pull it up, you spray it, you put it, and you pull it, and you gotta keep after it. After spending $380 to the county to do it, do you know, it's just blooming and just going wild again. And my neighbors want us to do something because they don't have it on their side. So this individual who's so sweet and nice, you know, talking about how you can do your neighbors and how you can work with it, it's more of a serious problem than what we realize.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that there's some property on the highway that has a lot of white top out there on 395, and you know it's not easy to deal with. It is a situation that needs not an ordinance. It's like taking care of tar weed or something else out in the wilderness. You need something that is more of a county health program to get rid of it. And it's gonna take like over years to get rid of it because of the way it grows. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayanna. We're gonna have to adjust the agenda, obviously.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we can delay the start of the meeting to take the closed session, or it looks like we got a relatively short agenda.
Maybe we can take up the
Then we can take it up at
pleasure of the
the
board,
end,
take
maybe
up
at
after.
maybe at 10:30 or
We'll go
10:45,
ahead.
11 o'clock, something like that, with your preference.
Okay. I think that would be good. I think there's some folks in the audience who are,
Take this down.
yeah, you might as well take it down. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, you close session?
No, Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith, does it look like closed session to you?
No.
If we are, we're being recorded, so.
Yes, you are.
Okay, we're gonna, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and immediately go into our opening ceremony. And if you'll all rise, please, and join Supervisor Alba in the pledge of the flag.
Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, we pray this day for your ever-enduring guidance, focus and wisdom and fortitude, that we may disperse our knowledge and facts intelligently among all humanity of whom we serve. Amen. Thank you very much. For those who are just entering the room, we had a closed session scheduled for 9 o'clock with a public comment preceding that. That public comment portion went right into our open session, and so consequently, we're going to go through and approve the agenda, obviously, but that agenda approval will include our going back into closed session at the conclusion of our open session to go ahead and conduct that business. So there will not be any announcements of items discussed in closed session. At this juncture, we will do that following our closed session at the end of the meeting. We'll move on to item B2, agenda approval, additions and/or deletions. And we have one correction, Madam Clerk, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was the minutes of June 25th. And that's added to the 18th, or?
No, the 18th is already been.
The 18th's already done, okay, thank you very much. So, under G1, that should read the minutes of June 25th, which would have been our last meeting in June, the last meeting of the fiscal year. Are there any other corrections, additions, and/or deletions by board members? Anything from staff?
No change.
Okay, seeing none, Chair would entertain a motion on the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, you wanted to add that?
Yes, I'd like to, meeting to be adjourned in memory of Dorothy Morgan, longtime resident out there at Ravendale.
Okay. I did not know she passed. Thanks. Neighbor of yours out there. Thank you. We'll go ahead and adjourn in memory of Dorothy Morgan, obviously. Chair to entertain a motion on the agenda then as amended. Is there a second? Seconded by Supervisor Pyle. Moved by Supervisor Alba, seconded by Supervisor Pyle to approve the amended agenda. Any further discussion? Any questions, any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Chair votes aye. Any opposition? Carries unanimously. Now we're going to move into our second public comment period. Again, this item is placed on the agenda. Mr. Edwards, we've already got yours. You're welcome to comment again if you care to, but thank you very much again for attending. This is placed on the agenda to afford those in the audience an opportunity to address the Board of Supervisors on items which do not necessarily appear on our agenda. If you're here to address an item on the agenda, you're welcome to wait until that period of time. If you cannot wait, you can address it now during this portion. There's a 3-minute time limit. The item, the subject of your discussion